Alexander the Great had conquered more land than any man his age. His name inspired loyalty, fear, and silence. And yet, one night, in a room filled with celebration, Alexander made a decision that haunted him for the rest of his life. Not because it cost him territory, not because it weakened his army, but because it revealed something far more dangerous. A man can rule the world and still lose command of himself. And when that happens, the damage is permanent. By this point, Alexander was undefeated. Persia had fallen, kings bowed, cities surrendered at the sound of his name. But power has a way of amplifying whatever a man has not disciplined. Far from home, surrounded by victory, Alexander's authority grew absolute. And so did the danger of a single unchecked moment. The incident occurred in 328 BC during a banquet in Central Asia. No battlefield, no enemy formation, just men, wine, pride, and words spoken too freely. Cleitus the Black was not an ordinary officer. Years earlier, Cleitus had saved Alexander's life in battle, cutting down an enemy moments before Alexander was killed. He was trusted, respected, and that night he was drunk. So was Alexander. As soldiers praised Alexander as greater than all who came before him, Cleitus objected. He reminded the room that Alexander's victories were not his alone, that Macedonian soldiers had bled for every mile gained, that Alexander's father, Philip, had built the foundation. The word struck something raw. Alexander heard defiance, disrespect, a challenge to his authority. Voices rose, insults followed, and then Alexander lost control. He seized a spear. Before restraint could return, before judgment could reassert itself, Cleitus was dead. The anger vanished instantly. What remained was only horror. Alexander collapsed. He attempted to take his own life that night. For days he refused food and water, locked away from his army. No conquest could undo what happened. Power had not protected him from himself. It had only removed the barriers. This was not the failure of a king in battle. It was the failure of a man in restraint. Alexander learned too late that authority does not excuse emotional loss of control. It magnifies it. Here are the 3 lessons we can learn from Alexander the Great. Lesson 1, power amplifies what discipline has not corrected. When a man gains power before mastering himself, his flaws gain reach. Alexander's anger was always there, but now it had weapons. If self-control is absent early, power makes the consequences irreversible. Lesson 2, one emotional moment can erase years of trust. Alexander had conquered empires, but 10 seconds of rage destroyed a lifelong bond. Emotional overreaction trades the long term for the immediate, and life never refunds that trade. Lesson 3, the pause is the true mark of leadership. Leadership is not intensity, it is restraint. The pause, before speaking, before reacting, before acting, is the difference between authority and destruction. Alexander ruled armies, but in that moment, he failed to rule himself. Today, the setting has changed. The test has not. The weapon is no longer a spear. It is a message sent too quickly, a decision made while emotional, a reaction that burns a bridge permanently. The pattern is ancient. Emotion narrows vision. Restraint preserves authority. When emotion spikes, do nothing for 10 minutes. No replies, No explanations, no decisions. Move your body. Breathe through your nose. Create distance from the moment. Then ask, will I respect myself tomorrow if I act on this now? That question creates kings. Alexander conquered the world, but the lesson that mattered most came from the moment he failed to conquer himself. A king must master his temper, because if you do not command your anger, it will eventually choose a target you cannot replace.